What if England's biggest mistake isn't underestimating Lionel Messi, but believing Argentina depends on him more than England depends on its own talent? And what if the numbers everyone keeps quoting are hiding the one advantage that has already broken favorites before? The conversation around this semifinal feels strangely familiar. England has the younger squad. England has more speed. England has stars across every line. Computer simulations reportedly gave France the highest chance to win the tournament, while Argentina sat at the bottom among the remaining semifinalists with barely over a 20% chance. On paper, that sounds like the beginning of the end for the defending champions. But football has never cared much about paper. It only cares about 90 minutes, sometimes 120, and the team that refuses to blink first. That's why I think so many predictions are missing the real story. They're measuring talent. Argentina is playing something completely different. The loudest voices coming from England have only added fuel to this narrative. Former players have openly claimed England is stronger in virtually every position. Others predicted England would score at least 2 goals. Some even joked that their defenders would put Messi to sleep because they simply have too much pace. That confidence makes perfect sense. Until you remember who they're talking about. This isn't 24-year-old Messi flying past defenders every 5 minutes. That version disappeared years ago. The dangerous version is somehow even harder to defend because he no longer plays the game everyone else is playing. Watch him closely. For long stretches, he barely moves. He walks. He drifts. He almost disappears. To casual viewers, it looks like fatigue. To defenders, it looks harmless. But that's exactly the trap. While everyone else is burning energy chasing the ball, Messi is collecting information. Every defender who steps too high, every midfielder who loses concentration, every gap that will exist 30 seconds from now instead of right now. Most elite players react. Messi predicts. That difference changes everything. One fascinating statistic illustrates the point. Reports around this tournament suggested Messi spends the overwhelming majority of matches walking or moving slowly instead of sprinting constantly. Critics call it laziness. Coaches call it efficiency. Because when he finally accelerates, it usually isn't random. It's because he already knows where the play will end before everyone else realizes where it's going. That's why defenders often lose him. You can't consistently track someone who refuses to follow normal movement patterns. Instead of creating chaos himself, Messi waits for chaos to create opportunity. And Argentina has built an entire system around making that happen. This might actually be the most controversial thing about this team. Many people still believe Argentina revolves around Messi. I think it's the opposite. Messi now revolves around Argentina. The entire squad has evolved into a support structure that exists to maximize the few explosive moments their captain still produces. Julian Alvarez runs endless kilometers. Rodrigo de Paul covers impossible amounts of ground. Enzo Fernandez constantly fills spaces. Lautaro Martinez stretches defensive lines. Every player sacrifices something, so Messi doesn't have to waste energy solving problems someone else can solve first. That's not dependency. That's optimization. There's a massive difference. It's almost like watching an elite Formula One pit crew. One superstar crosses the finish line, but dozens of invisible decisions make that victory possible. England may honestly have better individual athletes. Argentina may honestly have the better collective purpose. Purpose often survives pressure longer than talent. And pressure is where this semifinal becomes fascinating. England enters carrying enormous expectations. The squad is expensive, young, athletic, loaded with players starring for Europe's biggest clubs. Anything less than reaching the final would immediately become another chapter in decades of disappointment. Argentina doesn't carry that same burden. They're already world champions. They're already defending history. Ironically, being underestimated may be the greatest psychological advantage they could ask for. Think about how dangerous that becomes during the final 20 minutes. If England leads, anxiety appears. If the game stays tied, anxiety grows. If Argentina survives wave after wave without collapsing, confidence begins quietly changing sides up. Football momentum doesn't always follow possession. Sometimes it follows emotion. Argentina understands emotional momentum better than almost anyone. Look at one of their toughest knockout performances. Against Switzerland, they needed extra time. The match became messy. Momentum shifted repeatedly. Argentina made mistakes. Switzerland fought back. Even after gaining a numerical advantage, the defending champions still couldn't relax. Eventually, a stunning strike restored their lead before a late goal sealed the result. Most teams would describe that as surviving. Argentina almost seems to prefer it. That's what scares me about this team. They don't panic when matches become ugly. Ugly is familiar territory. Another remarkable example supports that reputation. Argentina has repeatedly gone into extra time throughout World Cup history and emerged victorious far more often than expected. That isn't luck anymore. At some point, repeated survival becomes identity. Championship teams develop strange habits. Argentina's habit is refusing to die. Now compare that mentality with England's preferred approach. England wants rhythm, speed, direct attacks, quick transitions, high-energy football that overwhelms opponents physically. Argentina wants interruption, control, frustration, patience. They're perfectly comfortable slowing matches until every possession feels emotionally exhausting. This is where the tactical battle becomes incredibly interesting. England probably wants the game played at maximum speed. Argentina probably wants England emotionally drained before they're physically tired. Those are completely different objectives. And that's why I don't think possession statistics alone will explain this match. Another debate surrounding Argentina has become impossible to ignore. Refereeing. Following Argentina's quarterfinal victory, criticism exploded. Some opponents questioned officiating decisions. Supporters across social media argued that the defending champions had benefited from controversial moments. England fans quickly noticed those discussions and began worrying about officiating before the semifinal even kicked off. Here's where I think people get distracted. Whether those complaints are justified or not almost doesn't matter. The conversation itself creates pressure. If England players begin expecting unfair decisions before the match even starts, every 50-50 challenge suddenly feels suspicious. Every whistle becomes emotional. Every setback feels personal. That's exactly where concentration disappears. Elite knockout football punishes emotional distraction instantly. Meanwhile, Argentina loves emotional football. Not reckless football. Emotional football. There's a difference. They thrive when matches become uncomfortable instead of clean. Now let's be fair. Argentina absolutely has weaknesses. Pretending otherwise ignores reality. Their fullbacks can be exposed against pace. Certain defenders aggressively step forward, leaving dangerous space behind them. England possesses runners capable of exploiting exactly those gaps. If Jude Bellingham arrives late into open channels, if Harry Kane drops deeper and drags defenders out, if England's wide players isolate defenders repeatedly, Argentina could face real problems. Those aren't imaginary concerns. They're legitimate tactical opportunities. England also possesses more vertical speed across the front line. That's real. Their athletic ceiling is probably higher. But football has never awarded trophies for theoretical ceilings. Execution always beats potential. And that's where Messi changes equations nobody else can solve. Harry Kane recently acknowledged something important. He emphasized that England isn't playing against only Messi. They're playing Argentina. I actually think that's the smartest thing anyone connected to England has said, because focusing exclusively on Messi becomes another trap. Stop watching Messi for 2 seconds. Watch the runners around him. That's where damage begins. The strange genius of this Argentina team isn't that Messi does everything. It's that everyone else makes his smallest actions feel enormous. One simple pass suddenly eliminates 5 defenders because the supporting movement already manipulated the defensive structure. One short touch becomes decisive because everyone else anticipated it. One pause changes the entire rhythm because opponents expected acceleration instead. Football isn't only about movement. Sometimes it's about convincing opponents to move first. Nobody has mastered that better than Messi. That's why calling him slow completely misses the point. He's not racing defenders anymore. He's racing their decisions. And decisions age much more slowly than legs. There's another reason predictions make me skeptical. Modern football analysis has become obsessed with probability, expected goals, possession percentages, simulation models, win probabilities. Those tools are incredibly valuable, but they struggle with one uncomfortable reality. Human beings aren't software. Confidence isn't measurable. Belief isn't measurable. Shared sacrifice isn't measurable. When teammates openly say they'll run twice as hard so their captain can decide the game, analysts often dismiss those comments as emotional cliches. Maybe they are. Or maybe those emotional cliches explain why certain teams consistently outperform mathematical expectations. Every championship run eventually reaches a point where numbers stop predicting outcomes. Character starts deciding them instead. That's exactly where Argentina has built its reputation. England's challenge isn't merely stopping Messi. It's surviving Argentina's patience long enough to force the match into England's preferred rhythm. If they succeed early, England could absolutely control this semifinal. If they don't, every passing minute strengthens the defending champions. Because time doesn't always help younger teams. Sometimes time belongs to experience. That's the lesson many opponents learn too late. Messi doesn't need 10 spectacular moments. He may only need one. One defender looking away, one misplaced step, one tiny pocket of space, one perfect touch. Everything else becomes history. That's why declarations that England is stronger across every position feel strangely incomplete. Football isn't won by comparing starting lineups individually. It's won by discovering which collection of players understands exactly who they are. England knows they're talented. Argentina knows exactly why they exist. Those are not the same thing. One side believes athletic superiority will eventually break resistance. The other believes resistance eventually breaks confidence. Only one philosophy survives. If England overwhelms Argentina with relentless pace, the predictions will look brilliant. If Argentina drags England into another exhausting battle filled with tension, frustration, and tiny moments of genius, every probability model suddenly becomes yesterday's news. Maybe the defending champions really are running out of magic. Or maybe everyone has mistaken calm for decline, patience for weakness, and walking for surrender. When the final whistle blows, will the world remember England's speed, or will it discover that the quietest player on the field was controlling the entire match all along?
If you enjoy this video, please like, share, subscribe and hit the bell to the later update from my channel. Thank you for watching till the end and see you in the next video.